But first, a man with family here in Omaha was deported because of a charge on his record. Then he was murdered, while loved ones are fighting to not let this from happening to another family. Tonight, the story of an immigration case here in Omaha that led to the death of a man with family still here. 3 News Now reporter Ariana Martinez spoke with the family of the man who was murdered after being deported just a few months ago.
These judges literally have blood on their hands. This happens all the time.
Luis Lorenzo came to the United States from Guatemala when he was 8 years old. As an adult, he did have several criminal charges on his record, but all except some minor infractions were later dismissed.
His family fled because they had political ties to opposition parties to the current government at the time, and even up to this day, up until very recently, he's had cousins and uncles who were murdered, who were shot, who were assaulted, who had to flee to the U.S. So we're going back decades that his family has been targeted for their political affiliations and for their family ties.
The charge against him that was not dropped was called alien in possession of a firearm. He was accused of trying to sell a gun at a pawn shop. It is a federal offense for a person who is not a citizen of the United States to be in possession of a firearm. Because of this charge, he was in the deportation process.
So that was our argument to the judge, is that he's going to suffer the same fate if he goes back there. This is not something that occurred 30 years ago and stopped. These are ongoing issues. And you combine that with the fact that the Guatemalan government is notorious for not only being corrupt, but also sometimes involved in a lot of crime down there, and certainly not able to prevent harm to him. And he very succinctly told the judge that he would be killed if she sent him back there.
He didn't even make it 6 months, and he was shot and killed in front of the same house. That we told her it would be in.
During his deportation hearing, the attorney provided hundreds of documents to prove his life would be in danger if he were to return.
If we can save one family and change one judge's mind, just to listen when these people are telling you. I understand that it's a court system and they feel like they hear excuses all the time. But when somebody puts something in front of you in black and white, don't close your eyes. Don't close your ears. Have a heart.
After Lorenzo was deported, he sought help from the Guatemalan police.
He went to the police multiple times to report these threats to his life. And yet, instead of helping him, they asked for money. And, whether that was for protection or not, I mean, clearly, if it was for protection, it didn't work out because he wasn't protected. He was murdered.
Lorenzo's wife and children are American-born citizens, and the rest of his family have already received their citizenship.
My husband's papers were in process. We were doing things the right way. His just took a little bit longer because when his came due, we just had our first child, and people don't understand how expensive it is.
His wife, Lacey Lorenzo, is disappointed in the system. She told me if the judge kept him in holding, he would still be alive today.
Are they going to send me in a letter in the mail and tell me that they granted his papers now? Now he's a citizen? No, they're not, because he'll never make it to that interview. Then with the virus in process, it just takes longer. His paperwork has been in process since June 8th of 2019, and he hasn't even received a first interview.
She hopes that by sharing their story, another family can be saved from the pain she is currently feeling.
I have 2 babies that will never have a dad. I have a little girl that will never have her dad walk her down the aisle, that will never be there for when they graduate.
Ariana Martinez, 3 News Now.
The current battle the family is facing is trying to bring Luis Lorenzo's body back to the U.S. to be buried.